hadn't spent so much time studying Earthlings, I wouldn't have any idea what was meant by free will. I visited 31 inhabited planets in the universe and studied reports on 100 more. And only on Earth is there any talk of free will.
Discussing free will is like opening a can of worms. Yeah, what a sorry metaphor for the freedom of our will. Maybe one of those worms could wiggle out of the can, but it would probably be the first to wind up on a hook or in a beak.
But seriously, is free will merely a hypothetical Oz pulling the gears? In what way is our will free? And really, what is our will anyhow? Or rather, what is will, since we can't at this point be certain we have one? Yes, of course, we have the sensation of willing, of deciding to act and then acting. But current neuroscience tells us this is just the culmination of a series of non-conscious actions within our psyches, and that we actually act before we consciously decide to. In fact, many neuroscientists will give a startling figure of 95% of our actions being non-conscious. That's a huge amount of influence on our behavior. So these covert components can hardly be said to be a function of free will if we are not even conscious of them. Add to this shaky substrata a memory system which is actually a bit slipshod and prone to fabulation. In other words, not all that conscious itself. Not to harsh your mellow here, but so far we're building a rather faulty tower.
On the other hand, it's all worked out quite well for the human race. Our brains may have sacrificed total recall, but this editorial process, though unreliable, is how we stay focused in the presence of a daily onslaught of information.
It's why, especially these days, we haven't croaked from neuroses, stress, and inordinate paranoia, and how we can fantasize that we have free will. When it comes down to it, what we are is a narrative built up of approximations, impressions, feelings, and ideas about all of them. As F. Scott Fitzgerald said, character is plot is character. And I suppose the cool thing is that we are writing the plot. If you, whether or not your will is free, write it that way. It is you up there on the stage making it all work, experiencing the thrill of the moment, of the tragedy or comedy. As I was on my 30th lap in my local pool today, I realized that one must separate these two concepts, free and will. Freedom does exist, and we experience it every day if we choose. Doesn't matter if it's illusory. We can feel it.
But that is different than our will actually being free when we do anything.
And will exists too. We exercise what feels like our will every day, even if it hardly belongs to us. Scores of progenitors linger in our bones, slayers of mastodons, eaters of monkeys and of men, ladies abused and abusing and perjuring, and all were themselves children at one point, and like them, each one of us has been imprinted with all this genetic code without our permission. Not to mention all the molding done by the folks that brought us into the world and with whom we spent our formative years. The existentialists believed that even though our freedom is circumscribed by the situations of our own biological and psychological makeup and the real-world exigencies into which we are thrown, humans are free to choose what to make of themselves. But whether you call it volition or willpower, or fiddle with the concept like the Germans do and call it Willenskraft, which is willpower and strength of mind rolled into one, we humans actually have it in abundance, and it is in that zone of willpower that we can exercise agency. For to presume that no free will means your willpower is irrelevant or meaningless is a mistake. If we are looking to improve our control over our lives, we need to listen to Socrates, who adjured us to know ourselves.
We must confront that monster of accumulated detritus who afflicts our will. We need to twist its manifold arms, make it yelp, and force it into submission. We must explore our innermost drives and actions so we can strive toward realizing our best selves
increase our potential as humans, and maybe even approximate free will.
Free will may be an illusion, but it is our illusion. It may only be a virtual Maserati, but we get to drive it.